Greetings, family, Empress D in nature in short sleeves. It's getting nice and warm and toasty in the Toronto area. At least today it is, family. I hope you guys are well and are getting out in nature wherever you are, okay? So, today, this conversation is inspired by Carrie Hilson and Cam Newton's recent interview. So I don't know much about Carrie Hilson. I remember I absolutely loved her song with Kanye back in the day, and it was one of the tunes I used to listen to while I was at LA Fitness doing my thing way back in the day. Carrie Hilson, that's what I know of her. But recently, after watching, and I didn't watch that whole interview, mind you, and I have to go and watch the whole thing, but I saw a small clip of it. And I have to say, I think this girl knows who she is. I like this girl. I like her. I don't know. For some reason, I like her. I like her. What I see of her, I like her. And watching that interview inspires this conversation, family. Cam and Carrie Hilson were talking about dating athletes, okay? And something that seems to be a common theme with women dating male athletes. Carrie Hilson was explaining how, in her experience with dating an athlete, and in the experience of the women that she knows who are dating or married to athletes, there's a common theme, and that these individuals, these men, lack certain characteristics, character traits, and character development in certain areas. And Carrie kind of explained it as because of this. She said that when these young men are in high school and they are in their sport, let's say a football player, for example, they become the so-called kind of heroes of the school. So everybody looks up to them, even the teachers, right? And so oftentimes these athletes are able to get away with things that normal people aren't able to get away with in order for these athletes to succeed, right? Everybody wants to help them on their journey to succeed because obviously there's potential that this athlete could make it pro. So these individuals, these young men, get things that most people don't get. And hi, is that a bee or something just flew by me? So because of that, they haven't been exposed to certain relational challenges that most of us are exposed to. So in that aspect, they haven't been able to strengthen that muscle of being able to hear other people's perspective and know that it matters because oftentimes the world centers around them. And it actually makes a lot of sense. If an individual doesn't have an opportunity to see the world in a different perspective, like if your perspective, if you're an athlete and all you know is that everything always bends to fit your way, that's the way you think that the world is, right, family? And so the women that have interacted with these said athletes have noticed that these men haven't been able to develop that characteristic that's needed in order to exist within healthy, loving interpersonal relationships, right? And romantic especially, right? And so it's very, very interesting. It's very interesting. And I think that there's merit to that theory. Because how would they know how to give and take or value or think it's important another person's perspective when all of their life everybody's only been catering to theirs? How are they expected to see the world differently, right? They were conditioned this way, family, like socialized this way. by everybody, their peers, the teachers, parents, everybody above wants to see them succeed in said sport, because we know it's only a small few that succeed to the professional level. So obviously the ones around them want to support them in that matter, and sometimes it's to their detriment in where they do not have that opportunity to develop characteristics and qualities and personality traits that are needed to interact with the opposite sex. Food for thought, huh, family? Carrie Hilson, you're my girl. I haven't met you, but you my girl. I like the way your mind thinks, because it's so what I'm seeing that Carrie's doing is recognizing patterns. So she's seen it in her relationship and in the relationships of her friends. So what she's doing is recognizing a pattern. That's what we have to do on this planet, and learn from those patterns, right? And so I guess the challenge is to socialize even our athletes to be able to relate and know that the world does not revolve around them, family. Very interesting. And so that's the thing when creating and when somebody's formed by their environment, right? So we have to remember that. That's what it is. We are shaped by our environment, essentially what's around us and how we perceive the world. So if, for example, I am, let's say, royalty, right? And everybody just bows to my feet. You don't value people because they just bow to your feet, right? And I can never even think of that. I would never, like, even if I was royalty, everybody's equal, right? So it's like, I don't think we are all one. I think where we stand on the planet is as a result of what we put in. So in so many different aspects, with respect to our thoughts, the effort, the dedication, the commitment, the discipline, we get out what we put in. So the more of those things that I just mentioned that we put in, you get more out. The less you put in, you get, it's what I said, you get out what you put in, family. And so character development is so essential in our children, and especially the 0 to 7 years is where that foundation is built, right? But of course it always morphs and it's very malleable, right? It shapes based on your environment and your experience. So that's what it is, family. Character development, so important and well needed for a healthy, loving relationship, right? So that's the way I see it. Listen, to me, there is no healthy, loving relationship without each individual within that relationship willing to engage in character development. And the successful, loving couples that I see around me, they all engage in it. So again, there's another pattern recognition, family. So that's the key. If you want to have a healthy, loving relationship, be a healthy, loving person, right? Thank you for taking the time to listen to this message, family. I love and I value each and every one of you, and get out in nature. Look how beautiful, okay? One love.